Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we turn to talking about celebrities and major corporations supporting major figures in politics. This is normally A-OK, and actually it's encouraged even, especially in left-wing circles, especially in Hollywood and among liberals and Democrats. They expect all singers and actors to give them support, and all the companies are supposed to kowtow to them a lot too. We've seen this a lot throughout these protests and demonstrations and riots as well, where we've seen companies kind of support these things. We talked about how Star Wars had a post about it. So did Disney and Marvel, and so have all these video game companies. Nintendo has supported the protesters, as has Sony. All these places have come out in full support of the liberals. But once you hear someone come out and support a conservative, that's when the trouble starts. That's not allowed. That's a bad no-no, and you're going to get a lot of backlash, and that's what today's story is about. Today we're talking about a fast food chain called Wendy's, and they recently got exposed or canceled or whatever you want to call it for people figured out that they donated to President Trump. That's right. They supported our president, thus supporting freedom in our country, and they gave some donations. And that's caused Wendy's restaurant to get a lot of flack. They've had a lot of backlash because of this. And it also just goes to show that people on the left, they expect support and they want the celebrities and all the corporations to support them. But once they see someone support another side, then they start to give them crap. Then they start to cancel them, refuse to patron their stores and all that stuff. So it's a very interesting side to this story. It's very exciting to see someone support the president. It's such a big company too. Wendy's is a major fast food chain. So them coming out for them is pretty cool and pretty awesome. And I know it might kind of sound hypocritical to say, hey, I was the one bashing all these other companies for getting political before, but this story is actually different than that. It's actually not what you would think at all, because Wendy's, as far as I know, hasn't publicly stated this support. It was more like they privately donated some money that was discovered by someone else who leaked the information, and now when everyone's coming after Wendy's. When in the other situations, it's more like celebrities outright supporting liberal causes, outright saying, hey, Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to give you support for a run for Congress again, or they supported Barack Obama in his election, or Hillary Clinton. That stuff was direct and overt. This is kind of when he's getting exposed for privately expressing an opinion through monetary donations. Now, with all that said, let's check out some more details in this Business Insider article. It says, Wendy's faces backlash after a franchisee donates more than $440,000 to Trump as Wendy is over party explodes on Twitter. So already there's some more details that kind of make this situation less relevant or less of a comparison. You see, this was a specific franchisee, and how these companies tend to work is, when you build a McDonald's, a Taco Bell or something like that, one of these franchises, you kind of just rent the name and the menu, and then you buy your own restaurant and you run it on your own, and you just happen to have the Wendy's name and there are products that come through. So it's kind of like a mix between owning your own store and also being connected to this company, but it's not like they are full share owners or members of the company's board or something. It's like more of this kind of like franchisee owner relationship, and these franchisees can be free to do their own things. They can have their own politics. They don't all have to fall in line with everything either Wendy's or liberals or whoever wants them to. So this is kind of already breaking the story and breaking the narrative, and it's going to be cool to see where this goes. So with that said, here's a picture of Trump. This is the time I think he served some like fast food and stuff to some football players, had them a little meal at the White House. People tried to make fun of them for that, but I thought that was pretty cool. I could go for a little McDonald's burger once in a while. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's read on into this article. Wendy's is facing backlash online after Business Insider reported that a franchisee on President Donald J. Trump's Restaurant Recovery Roundtable donated more than $400,000 to re-elect the president. In mid-May, the White House announced that MyCos CEO James Bodenstent would participate in the roundtable. Moy Coast owns and operates hundreds of Wendy's, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut locations across the U.S., making Bodenstent the first fast food franchisee to publicly advise the White House on how to help restaurant industry recover from the pandemic. So, as we can see already, this guy is advising the president. He's trying to make a recovery effort specifically for restaurants that had been hit hard by this pandemic. The country, of course, closed down for a good long while. Some places are still on lockdowns or having curfews and stuff. So, to bring that back is definitely something we could use advice on. The fact that this guy wanted to help with that is very, very generous and very good for our country. Him supporting the president is a good thing too. And receiving this donation, there's not really any crime here. There's nothing negative. The main problem is people just want to call out anyone that supports Trump. People want to go after the president. He gets a bad rap in the press and the media, of course, and they're going to go after him any way they can. Bodenstadt donated more than $440,000 to the president's re-election campaign. Business Insider reported at the time. Most recently in March, Bodenstadt donated $200,000 to Trump Victory PAC. News about the CEO's donations resurfaced on social media this week. While Bodenstadt is an independent franchisee and Moikos also owns and operates Taco Bell and Pizza Hut locations, Wendy's has faced the brunt of the backlash. On Tuesday morning, Wendy is Over Party trended on Twitter with thousands of tweets under the hashtag. Yes, that's the hashtag Wendy is Over. Then we got some tweets and examples, some people memeing it, just kind of joking around. I mean, it's really not a big deal. It's just kind of like the anti-Trump people coming after it, kind of ruining the party, giving the person a bad time, saying they're not going to go to Wendy's, but they will. They'll come back. Wendy's has great burgers. They have great deals. It says, me clicking Wendy's Over Party. Man, Wendy's burgers are so good. What happened? Seeing what they did. Time to stand Burger King, y'all. Let's go. Burger King is garbage, by the way. So you're telling me Wendy's donated $400K to a billionaire? Hashtag Wendy's is Over Party. And then this person just kind of making that face to respond to that. It's already kind of misleading. It's just showing people not understanding the story because, yeah, Wendy's didn't donate to Trump. And yeah, Trump is a billionaire. Now you want to admit he's a billionaire. Sometimes the left tries to deny that and act like he doesn't have that much money or it's all, he's exaggerating his wealth. But here's the thing. Okay, yeah, Trump has a lot of money and assets, but he's not going to pay for his own reelection. You still have to raise funds and get people to support you. Otherwise, you're not really getting in a place where you're going to want people to vote. Like monetary support is the number one way to get an indication of whether or not you can win an election, whether or not you should run for this reelection. So you need to get donations even if you're rich. You can't just spend your own money. I mean, you can, but it's just typically done by people who don't know what they're doing, people who are not really supported a lot by the public. They don't have a lot of votes, so they just throw their own money out there. And that's just not the way it works. I know this person's joking. I know they're memeing, but still. Okay, next we got rest in peace, Wendy's 444. I will miss you. They put that photo in black and white. That is a good deal. Wendy's has good deals. I like Wendy's. I'm actually not very hungry right now, but just seeing all this stuff, it is tickling my fancy. I am interested. That Wendy's account really liked talking about that to people and being shady. One person tweeted, now where are you at? Okay, this is a good reference to how the tweet and the Twitter account for Wendy's has been known to be this kind of goofball, this kind of like troll almost. They talk a lot of trash on the internet. They say a lot of things that you might not expect from like a brand's Twitter account. And it actually got them a lot of attention. The Wendy's account had a lot of good zingers, like a lot of jokes, and they would say stuff sometimes like just kind of off-color jokes or what have you, stuff like that. And now that to know that this company is related to a franchisee that supports Trump, I mean, that is pretty cool. That's pretty telling. And it shows that, hey, the one cool corporate account is related to a Trump supporter. Wait, Wendy's is being canceled too? We just got spicy nugs back. Man, and this person's crying. So I guess no more 4 for $4 meals now that Wendy's is disappointment. And then there's Batman kind of looking and getting mad, face palming. Well, poop. Looks like Wendy supports dictator Trump. Shame I could never eat there again. I really enjoyed the 4 for $4. Wendy supports a man who supports turning the military on us and systemic racism. Wow, that's a strong tweet. I think this is actually reference to the events too, talking about turning the military on us is a reference to Trump's strong law and order speech, talking about trying to stop these riots and this chaos in the country. And I really never got that, like the fact that they try to bring up the military as a negative. They try to call you a fascist if you're going to send the military in. And I know there can be a very on the surface level comparison, like, oh, that's what the dictators would do or something. They would send in their military to take things over. But there's also justified situations to send in law enforcement and military and soldiers and stuff. And I think whenever you see people destroying the stores in the country and tearing down buildings and setting fires, and if the police in the local areas can't handle it, then of course you could send in some law enforcement or military from the federal level. I mean, that's not fascism. That's just stopping a problem. Fascists would have military out there making people do stuff or gathering people up and throwing them in jail, like, taking away their good, expensive property or something, like stealing their homes. That's fascism. Stopping some rioters and looters with a little bit of force, like a little bit of, military might. That's a good thing. It doesn't have anything to do with a dictator. Or systemic racism is another made up term here. I mean, that doesn't even mean anything. Where's the system of racism? Like, what rules in our system? Where is it coming from? Like, that's just a buzzword a lot of these leftists use to try to kind of garner sympathy for their side. Wendy's and Moicos did not respond to Business Insider's request for comment. Wendy's CEO Todd Penegor has not made any donations directly to Trump or other politicians. According to Federal Election Commission filings, Penegor has donated only to the Wendy's Company PAC. According to Open Secrets, that PAC has donated to both Republican and Democratic congressional candidates in 2020 elections. However, it has contributed more to Republicans, including Senators Mitch McConnell and Susan Collins, than Democrats such as Reps Lou Correa and Joyce Beatty. So apparently Wendy's has some kind of PAC. PACs are these political action committees. They basically kind of gather money, they raise money and kind of get people donations and then use them for politics, like use them to invest in candidates or get causes passed or bills made, stuff like that. It's a political move, and apparently Wendy's has one. A lot of big corporations do, though. It's not that uncommon for a big corporation to have these sorts of PACs. It's basically them funding different lobbyists and then also donating money to different politicians that can help their company. These companies operate on a international level. Like, they're in many countries, they're all over the world, and mostly in America, especially for Wendy's. So for them, it's valuable to have like a law, like say, for example, if there was some law coming out that was going to regulate their beef and make their burgers not as good or more expensive, then it would make sense for them to donate money and kind of contribute to helping them save themselves from that bad rule for their situation. Now, it might be good for us or for other people, but these companies have their own interests and they have to kind of think about themselves and their shareholders and their owners and all the people that work for them and stuff. So the fact that they donated a few more to Republicans than Democrats isn't that big a deal. It just shows that, Republicans probably are helping them in supporting their business more. Trump and the White House have faced criticism for giving executives friendly with Trump a platform during press briefings. Trump donors who have publicly advised the White House on restaurant industry's recovery include Ray Washburn, the CEO of M Crowd Restaurant Group, and Tillman Fertitta, the CEO of Landry's, which owns restaurant brands such as Bubba Gump, Del Frisco's, and Joe's Crab Shack. And this also reminds me of another company, that My Pillow guy was another one that came out for Trump, and he got a lot of flack for it too. And that's kind of what's happening with this Wendy's and this Wendy's guy. They're coming and supporting Trump. They're supporting our country, and that's their right. But people don't want them to do that. They don't want anyone having to do with anything with Trump unless you're bashing him. You're an enemy of the people. And it goes to show how hypocritical they are too. So that about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. And also, make sure you hit that like button to help get this video shared. Until next time, we'll see you guys on the other side. Let me just take a quick moment to talk to you about my second channel. I recently relaunched and revamped No Bullshit 2, and it's now called NoBS News. I'm going to be doing new videos on there almost every day on weekdays, and then weekends we're going to be doing more live streams. So make sure you guys check out that second channel. There's already like say 10 or 12 more videos on there for you to check out right now. So if you want more content, search NoBS News on YouTube or click the link below this video.